Hi students, I'm Ratnali Sharma and we are going to start with an interesting writing skill today, that is story writing. Now, we all have written stories and heard stories. Hearing is interesting, but when it comes to writing, sometimes we run out of ideas. Today we are going to learn an effective method of writing a good story. Okay, you will never be short of ideas now. Let's begin. First of all, let us understand according to the new syllabus, the question will be asked in a very different way. There are two ways of asking a question in story writing. The first, write a story beginning with. Okay? And they'll give a line which is incomplete. For example, after saying my prayers, I was about to sleep when. Dot, dot, dot. Those three dots indicate that we will have to continue from here. Okay? This should be the basic beginning of our story. Sometimes the question will be slightly different. Write a story ending with. Now, when they say ending with, okay, the three dots come at the beginning and the last line of the story is given. From that day, we decided never to help a stranger again. Okay, so these are the two ways in which a question will be asked. But before knowing anything about story writing, we should know the format of story writing. Now, the first thing to remember is the length. The length of your story should be 1.5 side of the page. Second, the starting line or the ending line will be given, correct? It has to be started or ended with that line itself. And again, remember, do not write anything before or after that line. In the sense, if the starting line is given, you won't write anything before it. Whereas if the ending line is given, don't write anything after it. Okay, keep it as it is. The third most important thing is give an appropriate title to your story. Whether it is mentioned in the question or not is not important. You have to give a title to the story. Now let us move on to the next important aspect, that is how to develop a story. Now, in spite of knowing the format, sometimes we don't know what to do, how to write a story. So let's learn it in detail right now. To begin with, first of all, you should have a clear and definite idea about the plot of the story. Now, what do you mean by plot of the story? Basically, the theme. Okay, the theme of the story should be decided on. When you have decided on the plot, the next important thing is, according to the plot, develop the characters of the story. Okay, now when you develop the characters, keep in mind that create only 2 to 3 characters. Why? Because too many characters will clutter the story. It will become a bit complicated. It is better to have fewer characters and a simple plot. Okay. Then, the situations in the story should be natural and interesting. By natural, I don't mean that, it should be close to nature. It means it should be close to real life. Okay? You can use fictitious characters like fairies and robots and zombies in your stories. But whatever reactions, whatever situations comes in, they should be actually natural. That is very close to life and it should be interesting. Last point to remember, but very important, use direct speech in your story. Now, direct speech will mean a dialogue. Always have a nice dialogue in your story. It creates a different impact. Okay? Now, we know how to develop a story. Now, let us actually take an example and try and see how we can utilize all these points. First of all, if our question is, write a story beginning with, and the first line given to you is, after saying my prayers, I was about to sleep when. Okay, now in this particular line, okay, we will have to weave a new story to it. We will have to continue it. And when we do that, there are two important aspects in developing the story. What are those two aspects? First of all, the plot of the story, and second, the character. Both of these are connected. That means first you'll have to decide on the plot and then the characters. How? First of all, what do we mean by a plot? The theme of the story, and there are many different types of plots like adventure, science fiction, horror, motivation. You could have many other themes, okay? But more often, these are the themes that we deal with. Now, first you will have to check the line given to us should match with one of these themes. Sometimes you'll have more than one options, but you will have to choose among them then, okay? And once you have decided on your plot, you will have to develop characters, okay, according to the plot. So the characters will be different according to the plot chosen, okay. With that, we have learned what is a plot and a character.